So this evening, we're going to talk about the Damnation Creek Safety Project. It's occurring on Highway 101 in Del Norte between Klamath and Crescent City. It is a little bit north of Last Chance Grade. So today I'll talk about what this project proposes to do, why we're doing it, and the schedule for the project going forward. I just want to make a note that this is not the Last Chance Grade project. I know it's a close project in the vicinity, but there will be a Last Chance Grade is having a public meeting on January 24th, and you can go to lastchancegrade.com if you want to find out more information about that project. Make sure you're in the right place. Before we get started, I have a little housekeeping. Attendees are going to be in listen-only mode during the presentation. After the presentation, there will be a Q&A session. You'll need to use the raised hand feature in WebEx. Presentation will be shared on the project document page. And if you're participating in this virtual meeting, please be advised that it is being recorded. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Caltrans ensures that no person in the state of California is excluded from participation in, denied the benefits of, or otherwise subjected to discrimination in Caltrans program, policies, procedures, activities, and services on the grounds of race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability. This is a public participation survey to collect demographic information. It's completely voluntary, but will help Caltrans provide better notice for future projects. I'll leave it up here for just a minute if you guys want to take the public survey. My name is Tyler Brown. I'm the environmental coordinator for this project. My main job during this project is compiling different environmental studies related to the project and writing the environmental document for the project. Caltrans has been studying this since May 2021, and compiling studies for them and putting them into the environmental document. This project is a safety project. It's meant to improve the safety along the highway. We'll mainly do that through super elevation or cross slope improvements and guardrail installations. We're going to talk a little bit more about what super elevation is later in the presentation. My highlighter on. Like I said, this project is on Highway 101 between Crescent City and Klamath. It's on post mile 15.6 to 16.20. Today with me, there's a few other members of the team that helped through this project. Liana Winkler-Prinz, the project manager, is here to answer questions. Eric Shada, the project design engineer, could not make it, but members of his team are here speaking for him. Jason Myers is here as the senior environmental scientist. Tyler Brown is myself presenting this, and Miles Cochran is here to help facilitate the meeting. So this project proposes roadway safety proposals. The project was initiated by District 1 Traffic Safety in response to a collision analysis. There were higher than average incidents of collisions within the project location, including injury collisions, vehicle versus pedestrian collisions, and a fatal collision. So the purpose of this project is to reduce the frequency and severity of collisions along this segment of highway. One of Caltrans' overriding goals is to improve safety along our highway, so we evaluate sections that have higher than average collisions and evaluate them, see if we can improve the safety so that everyone can get where they want to go. This project is programmed to cost approximately $15 million. This is the project schedule going forward. The draft environmental document is circulating right now. Started December 23rd and it will go through January 29th. If you'd like to comment on the draft environmental document, please submit it by January 29th. At the end of the presentation, there will be a location where you could submit comments. In February and March, we will be addressing those comments and then circulating a final environmental document. Over the course of the next year, we'll be completing plans and permits. Construction will happen in 2025 and 2026, and we will complete it in 2026. Super elevation. What is super elevation and where is it used? Super elevation means raising the pavement on the outside with respect to the inside. It's also called cant or banking. You see an extreme example of this in like NASCAR tracks where you see the bent track. The high side is much higher than the inside, and it is a method we use to improve safety and traction while driving a car. Vehicles can skid on a flat curve, but no skidding or tipping happens with their super elevation. This super elevation exists on most of the highways around here, and you probably don't notice it except when you're going around a curve and you can feel the gravity pulling at your car on some turns more than others. Look at the camera. The super elevation can have a significant impact on how fast or how safe you are traveling around a curve in a car. So in this project, we'll be improving the super elevation on 2 turns. This turn is looking north on Highway 101. All right, monitor turn off. As you can see, the road is mostly flat through here. You can't see much of a super elevation. It's also pretty close to the start of a passing lane, so there tends to be people navigating quickly around this corner. So we will be raising the outside edge over here so that we'll have more of a banked turn. Over here looking south, this is going into the second turn that we're going to improve the super elevation. As you can see, it's mostly flat road here and doesn't have much of a super elevation. We'll be increasing the super elevation going into that second turn as well. Here's an example of our plans. You can see this dotted line here is the existing super elevation. There's not nearly as much of a bank, and this solid block right here is the proposed road that has more of a super elevation to increase safety. The second thing we'll be doing is guardrail installation. Right now, there's an existing concrete barrier that's installed as a temporary measure while this project was developed. We'll be installing something called the Midwest guardrail system, and that has a much higher safety than the concrete barrier that's currently installed. So those are the 2 significant changes proposed by this project. I'd like to talk about next what will happen during construction. There will be one-way traffic control during the entire project, so we will leave 1 lane open to traffic, an estimated max delay of 15 minutes. Because we are closing 1 lane of traffic during construction, the Damnation Creek trailhead will be closed. It's not feasible to have people turn through the middle of the project. This map shows 101 in black, and this red extent is the extent of the project. And the Damnation Creek trailhead is right here in the middle. So we'll have traffic control on the north and south end, and it's not feasible to allow people to turn off in the middle of the project. They'll be separated by those concrete barriers you saw, and people wouldn't be able to re-engage with the traffic when they were ready to leave. Although the Damnation Creek trailhead is closed, this trailhead down here, the California Coastal Trail, will remain open for the entire duration of the project. It is about a little more than a quarter mile of a way. The trail is slightly longer, but you can see the contours here. It's flatter, so that makes it a little bit easier to hike. And it does connect with the Damnation Creek project up here. There's a parking available at the California Coastal Trail. It's not as much as the Damnation Creek trailhead, but there are spots to accommodate approximately 10 cars down here. One of our partner agencies for this project is the California State Parks, Belmont Redwood State Parks. In order to go through with this project, we need to reach an agreement with them about a Section 4F permit. The Section 4F relates to the Transportation Act of 1966 and provides for the consideration of park and recreation lands, wildlife, and waterfowl refuges and historic sites during transportation project development. The environmental review. Per the California Environmental Quality Act and the National Environmental Policy Act, the project must go through an environmental review process to evaluate potential impacts to the environment. The analysis of these impacts is included in the environmental document. The type of CEQA document prepared for this project is an initial study negative declaration. The negative declaration is because no significant environmental impacts of the project are anticipated. The draft environmental document is available on the Caltrans website. Here, I'll give you a shortcut to it on the next page, or you can view it physically at the Caltrans district office on 1656 Union Street in Eureka. This is the project website where the environmental document is available for review. This shortened URL leads to the same place. You can also follow Caltrans on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter or X. We have for updates for this project. At the moment, I'll open it up for questions.
I've got a quick one. You ready?
I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay, this is Victor.
It is.
Okay, go ahead.
You talked about alternative parking, and that was at the, I believe, where Old Highway 1 pops out, just a little north of Last Chance Grade project area. And you said that there would be parking that would be available there.
Yes.
That typically that area is used for staging of materials and project vehicles. Is that something that's going to be accommodated for with Last Chance Grade project?
During the duration of the construction for this project, we've designated those areas as places we're not going to use for staging.
Okay.
So those parking spots will be available during the construction of the Damnation project.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Well, if there are no other questions, I recommend, if you have anything or you think of anything further later, you can always reach out to us. I'll put my email address in the chat there. And then there's also, the tinyurl.com/damnation docs where you can go and find more information about this project. And then in addition to that, I'm probably going to leave this open in case anybody comes late. Maybe they're finishing dinner and they were able to get over to this meeting late. So I'll hang out. And in case there are any further questions, I'll definitely reach out to you, Tyler, and see if you can pop back on.
I'll be available.